I hate reading. It's just not my thing. You know, you have a lot of words, text, extra paragraphs you need to follow, and it's just not visually interesting. Now, Sky Mall, that's something I could get into. If there was only a way I could take in the story via auditory compartments and not blank letters in which I have no idea how to invoke it. And that's where video games come in. We have visual novels with added player interaction, the compromise of a story and gameplay. If you have played games like these, as popular as Ace Attorney series, to more graphical adventures like The Walking Dead by Telltale Games, then you might understand how they play. Okay, cutscenes is probably what comes to mind before this subgenre as long as it's paced well. But for visual novels, you can still get a sense of story while manipulating that it's the player's decisions that follow. I have noticed that Steam does have a good amount of visual novel games, plenty of them being basically an anime. However, the Wii U once again drew my attention to this game for only $1.20, yes that is real, for a game that is called the Stonecutter, developed by Brave Rock Games. They have only published 2 games on the system, the Stonecutter and Red Riding Hood. In fact, I just realized that the Stonecutter is also a novel by Camilla Lackbird. From what I could tell, it has no correlation despite the other game they made based on an actual novel. I was browsing around the eShop to see what I could find on the recent dates, and then this face shows up. What game? What game, I tell you, would actually gather gamers around by this face, especially when it doesn't tell you anything? It's just frightening. I don't care if this was drawn after a real person, or the amount of time that this was put into drawing this, or what implications this would have towards the game. This cartoon man does not belong as a cardboard cutout in front of real images of ancient China. The way this game was structured was very cheaply made. I mean, what can you expect? It's one of the cheapest games on the Wii U eShop, if I could call it a game to begin with, of course. However, let me tell you how the story is. The focus of the Stonecutter really plays out here before I get too melodramatic. A naive old man, which is the Stonecutter as the protagonist, does what any Stonecutter can do. He cuts stone. Later, he delivers a gravestone to this house of a rich man. Amazed at what he saw, he too wishes he was a rich man. This ended up granting him what he desired, and has a few more wishes that he mistakenly deserved. His house was just as jolly as he expected. You might believe he wants to live his life in greed. But he notices the sun, and this is going to be interesting, folks. He wishes to be the sun for the sense of empowerment. Then he wishes to be a mountain. The almighty sun cannot penetrate a mountain, but then mountains can be unstoppable. Oh, no, 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 no. Your worst enemy arrives when you soon grieve in pain as a mountain. By a Stonecutter. With his last wish, he desires to become human again and live a peaceful life. He could have been better off being wealthy, just putting that out there now. As far as gameplay goes, well, that was the gameplay. You would expect to have that choice for a visual novel, you know, select what option you want the story to actually turn towards. Of course it has that, but none of it actually matters. For example, the first choice I had was to either stay in the rich man's house or leave. The first time playing, I chose correctly. Staying at the house would get those wishes. When I played the game again, I selected the other option to leave, which ended up in essentially a game over.
And a voice answered him, "Your wish is heard, a rich man you shall be."
This happens to every single option you get with the exception of turning into a rain cloud, which only extended the duration of the story. At least it's funny to see other outcomes like releasing the power of the sun against the humans only to wipe out the entire population. But I digress. Regardless of this, the choices are all trial and error. Wouldn't it be good to end up with a different ending for this game rather than just ending it short? I don't think this is well thought out, and I'm sorry, but you can't tell me I paid so little only for the game to hand out just one and only ending. I've already mentioned how bad this game looks. The cartoon drawings and photography do not mesh well, and the sound isn't that good. The narrator doesn't even sound interested in reading any of this.
Is the rock then mightier than I? Oh, if I were only the rock. And the mountain spirit answered, "Your wish is heard, the rock you shall be."
You know what this game reminds me of with the stale drawings and simple themes? The Flowers of Robert Mapplethorpe. This passes as a CDI game, and not really the kind that accepts itself as a bad video game, but the kind that was in low budget and made in 3 days on Adobe Flash. I would rate the Stonecutter a B+, if I were to believe this was a Flash project. Otherwise, it gets an F on my book. Don't buy this. That is all for today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all whenever. Take care.